breathe in, oh, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. Breathe in, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. Breathe in, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Just breathe. Our land acknowledgement is read this morning by Elizabeth Bloom.
In our commitment to be in right relationship with the descendants of this area's indigenous people, we place a small basket of black oak acorns on our altar each week. In doing so, we acknowledge that the Nisenan people are still here among us today, though nearly invisible, after generations of erasure and exclusion from California's history. We understand that we are on Nisenan land that was never ceded, and the original tribal families have yet to recover from the genocide of their people. As residents or visitors, As residents or visitors in Nisenan land, we support the Nevada City Rancheria Nisenan tribe in efforts to stabilize their people, as well as the campaign to restore tribal sovereignty through federal recognition.
Good morning, and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Community of the Mountains. My name is Cheryl Morris, and I'm your worship associate this morning. Whether you're here in person or on Zoom, I hope this service will be the start to a day that provides just what you need. It might be rest and quiet alone time. It might be a lively family gathering, or just an ordinary Sunday. It's Mother's Day, and whatever that means to you, may it be a day that is deeply satisfying and, well, nurturing. Yes, this month's theme is nurturing beauty. Last week, we celebrated the beauty of flowers and of each other. Today, I'm thinking about that first word, nurturing. I wonder who chose that word and why. Nurturing isn't the first word I would think of to pair with beauty. Used as a verb, it could be a suggestion to notice and foster the beauty that is already present in our lives. Or, used as an adjective, a recognition that beauty nourishes and sustains us. If you listen closely this month, you will notice that we are using the same chalice lighting every week. We decided the words had meaning for each service, and hearing it in different voices will add depth and resonance. Everything has beauty, but not everyone sees it, is a quote attributed to Confucius. We are a community that celebrates diversity in beliefs, backgrounds, personal identifications, and so much more. Let us also be a people who nurture beauty by looking closely and seeing what we so often overlook. Welcome. It is beautiful to be together.
Our community is filled with beauty. That's where the beauty begins. When you open the door to greet me, that's where the beauty begins. When you share with me what's important to you, beauty is there as I listen. When we join hands to practice compassion, beauty's heart is like a flower. When we teach or learn or work for justice, beauty abounding sparks joy in all. Let's light the chalice for beauty now, the beauty we seek, the beauty we share, the beauty we nurture together.
Chalice in the room, I invite people at home to light your chalices at home. Our story this morning, a story we have received before, but pre-pandemic, and much has happened since then. This Mother's Day, the words of Linda Susan Ulrich to honor the mothering and the mothers in our lives. For all mothers and mother figures, the grandmothers, aunts, and extended family members who mother, the soon-to-be mothers, the wish they were mothers, the never wanted to be mothers, the it's complicated mothers, the birth mothers, foster mothers, adoptive mothers, stepmothers, the used to be dad mothers, and more than one mom mothers, the single mothers, separated mothers, stay-at-home mothers, unhoused mothers, the grieving mothers, those who grieve their mothers, and those whose grief is complex. For all the communities that mother, and for all who depend on the great mother, you are held and beloved. May you know it to be so. In this weekly invitation to lift up our joys and our sorrows, I invite you to search your heart for the happiness you're celebrating, for the gratitudes that are rising, for the worries that are troubling you, and for the aches that tear at you. Perhaps they're associated with Mother's Day, and perhaps not. In the quiet of your heart, I invite you to notice and breathe into them. Let your praise or your prayer rise to the surface, in the quiet, in the music, in the space held by all of us. If you wish, those of you online may type into the chat some piece of the joy or sorrow that you care. I'll read some of those out loud afterward. And for those in the room, we have a weekly ritual, for those who wish, of taking a stone from the table here up front and placing it in the bowl of water. It's a way of quietly and physically acknowledging all the joys and the sorrows that we're holding. Whether we type in the chat or walk forward to move a stone, or we sit quietly, I invite us to hold each other with deep tenderness and care as we do. It's Karen Packard who will offer our prayer this morning, Reverend Karen Packard, who is moving very soon on the 20th. This will be our last public moment for now for Karen to be present to us, and I'm so grateful for the tremendous heart and caring that you've brought to everything you've done with all of us, including today. And I invite us to take time today in the reception afterwards with refreshments to say farewell to Karen if this is likely to be your last chance to see her for the moment. Yeah, Karen, please.
Today we're going to write our own lament psalm. There's a pattern in the lament psalms that I resonate with. First, the petitioner is encouraged to name their gratitudes. Now that could be directed at God or it could be directed somewhere else. And then they're directed to pour out their hearts honestly. And finally, to return to their gratitudes. I find that it's an effective tool for me that leaves me feeling heard and not self-pitying and hopeful. So for this last time with me, would you join me in my practice? Let us move into a time of reverent possibilities. Become still. So much gratitude. Gratitude for being together. Gratitude for being in more and more confidence to let go of our fears. Gratitude for the joy, the sheer joy of relationship. Smiles that shine on us and lift us up. And also for those faces that call out to be heard, to be loved, to be understood. Oh, we're so grateful for those opportunities to offer connection and acceptance to those around us. May no one pass unnoticed or unappreciated. We're thankful for the spoken word. We're thankful for the written word. And we're thankful for how those words can take us out of ourselves and can teach us so much about other people, other places, other ideas. Words have the power to transform. We're thankful for special people in our lives. Today we remember mothers. However, we know that our list is so much broader. We're grateful for all those who have nurtured and encouraged us. We're grateful for those who've welcomed our vulnerability. Those who have seen in us perhaps what we have not been able to see in ourselves. Who have massaged us into who we are, and even into who we are still to become. We say thank you. However, all is not well with our world or our world's people. There is war, misunderstanding, hate, resentment, fear, suffering, all manner of unrest. Sometimes it feels as if we can't manage. Sometimes it's just so difficult to meet a new day, and we can feel so ineffectual in all this mayhem. Perhaps our relationships with family or friend are not going smoothly. Perhaps we feel alienation and loss and confusion. Is there any way to really understand? We so want answers, and we so want to make the right decisions. Hear our prayer. We promise to listen. And yet we are grateful, even though all around us tumbles and moans. We deep in our hearts know that we are loved and we are known. We watch for those people or animals that cross our path, offering humility and compassion. We immerse ourselves in the beauty of nature. We promise never to forget to mark each of these incidents with our thanksgiving. Remembering that these are our tools as we navigate the shoals of our journey. Today it is mothers, soon it will be fathers, but angels of mercy surround us at all times. We are not alone. Hear our prayer. Hear our prayer. We are so grateful. We promise to listen and to watch with expectation. And we promise never to forget to say thank you. Amen.
invite you to rise in body or in spirit. Ancient Mother, I hear you calling. Ancient Mother, I hear your song. Ancient Mother, I feel your laughter. Ancient Mother, I taste your tears. Ancient Mother, I hear you calling. Ancient Mother, I hear your song. Ancient Mother, I feel your laughter. Ancient Mother, I taste your tears. One more time. Ancient Mother, I hear you calling. Ancient Mother, I hear your song. Ancient Mother, I feel your laughter. Ancient Mother, I taste your tears. Beauty is typically thought of in extraordinary terms. So a sunset of especially vibrant colors and cloud formations, or music that's exquisite in its tenderness and its subtlety. The flower with perfect, elegant shape, or the sweep of wildflowers that's so striking and so vast and exuberant that your lungs take in a breath without needing your instruction. The human being who is strikingly handsome in look or in bearing, or the stop-the-room beautiful person in body or in spirit. Years ago, I read of a study of human perceptions of physical beauty. The researchers had worked with people around the world, showing them various series of faces and asking them to rate how attractive they found each face to be. What the researchers discovered is that the faces considered the most attractive by the most people were the faces with the most average of features. So a nose that was not especially big or especially small. Eyes that were not too close nor too far apart. Foreheads not too high, not too low. Mouths not particularly big nor particularly small. Skin not too dark, not too light. The faces that received the designation of most beautiful, meaning most pleasing and most attractive, were the most average faces. Now, for just a moment, that's surprising. And then it makes perfect, ironic sense. That the people considered most beautiful are those whose features as a whole stray least from the center line of the viewer's experience of humanity, right? Not too far out in any direction. In fact, the way the researchers got to the most pleasing looking face was to create a computerized composite of faces they had in the system. They discovered in one of the more recent iterations of this study that the more faces they put together to create that composite, the more attractive the resulting face was to people. Of course, in a converse way, converse to that very same reality, in response to that same reality, some people find out of the ordinary features especially attractive. Features a good distance from that center line. So extra large eyes or extra square jaws, exotic or less average attributes. Attractive in part because they stand out from the midline of humanity. But more often, our species' evolutionary dynamics have led us to this general standard that locates extraordinary beauty plainly in the middle. Since learning of that study, I've never looked at beauty in the same way, human beauty. It took the edge off in a helpful way. It makes sense that what we'd find beautiful is what is most average. Thankfully, evolution has also given us a way to get around those standards of beauty. But I'll come back to that. The reason this aspect of beauty is coming to mind and heart to me today for Mother's Day is because it's linked somewhere in my brain, at least, with the extraordinary pressure and set of expectations and responsibilities placed on mothers and on mothering in our culture. Not so much about physical beauty, which is its whole own powerful cultural pressure, but an expectation of perfection and of needing to be everything that I've heard mothers describe in many different ways as a burden amplified by our dominant culture's devaluing of women's work. In part for this reason, on Mother's Day, I'm always drawn to readings that stretch the motherhood narrative to human proportions. Maureen Killeran puts it this wonderful way. Let us tell the stories of mothers, stories that could be true. Let us tell of warm mothers, soft and round and likely to be found with flour on their noses and always ready to pour you a glass of milk to go with the cookies on your plate. These mothers are increasingly rare. Let us tell of mothers who are like bubbles of champagne. They surprise your senses, leave you giggly, but when you least expect it, they offer an unexpected pop. Stories that could be true. Then there are grouchy mothers, stressed mothers, exhausted mothers, faces lined with worry and spirits tired and gray. Other mothers are wise and reliable, not prone to many words or to a lot of noise, but you know when you need them, they'll be there. Let us tell of fierce mothers, the ones who will love you even when you're wrong. Let us tell also of absent mothers, whose memory shimmers at the edges of your heart. Let us tell of distant mothers, cruel mothers, loving mothers, giving mothers. There are walk-away mothers, save the world mothers, too busy mothers. Mothers you cry because you lost them, and mothers who make you cry because you can't. Stories that could be true. May we hold in our hearts the mothers we have known, those who loved us and those who tried. May we forgive the mothers who didn't get it right and try to release the knots of disappointment, anger, of grief, of pain. Maureen continues, may we hold in our hearts the truth that mothering, nurturing, is a task that belongs to all of us. However old or young you are, whatever your gender, may you make extra room for nurturing in your life this week, she invites. May you say something real to a harried store clerk. Give a coworker a genuine compliment. Take time to listen deeply to a friend. May we remember and reflect and create anew the stories of love and nurture from this point forward. Stories that can be true. Relaxing the narrowness of any of our stories, our narratives of expectation, opens up room for seeing the beauty in the real, in the ordinary, in the imperfect, a lifelong process of learning, as you know. The focus on beauty this month invites us to look more closely than we usually do at everything, to look at our particular worlds inside and out, with an eye not for perfection, but with the notion of beauty determined by our very own personal perceptions, if we allow it to be. It's kind of looking for ordinary beauty in our lives and around us might require narrowing our vision to zero in on some detail we had never noticed before, but more likely it will require first softening our gaze to make visible a new layer of reality that we had so far never seen. Perhaps the most important place to look for beauty this month is within yourself or within your life. If recognizing beauty there feels elusive or difficult or well-nigh impossible. And I don't mean only physical or typical beauty. It may help actually to do some practicing by noticing beauty in your very immediate world, in an unglamorous corner of your home, for example, or the world just outside your door, or down the street, or in a face or in a heart you've never before thought of as beautiful. As a spiritual practice this month, maybe look for beauty not where you'd expect to find it, but where you wouldn't expect to find it. Or at least where you've never noticed beauty before. If recognizing beauty, including your own, is a challenge these days or lifelong, consider seeking out places and faces where you think beauty is unlikely to be found, and then try relaxing your gaze to discover where looking more closely might actually reveal something new and, in fact, quite beautiful. Maybe then, after noticing things like the artfully patterned shadow created by that broken fence at the edge of a seemingly ugly parking lot, turn your gaze inward or to another to see where beauty is waiting to be perceived by you, even in the shadows of the most broken places, the most broken faces. My mind makes another leap this morning, though in my psyche it's all connected. Lindsay Dunkel found a fantastic story for next Sunday, a book titled Ish. Tune in next week. I'd like to share with you today a companion notion, the power of I read about the power of in a Smart Church Solutions blog by Tim Kuhl, who was inspired by a piece on flylady.net, which is a blog about cleaning and organizing your home. I know it's a dangerous proximity on Mother's Day, but it's about a wider concept than home cleaning. Fly Lady calls it the 5-minute room rescue. Pick one room to focus on, she writes, just one room. Set your timer for 5 minutes, that's it. Work as fast as you can to pick up and put away. That's it. Children love to play this game, Fly Lady notes. Set your timer and set yourself free from chaos, she finishes with a flourish and lots of capital letters. The thing is, it's not the timer that sets one free. It's the willingness to celebrate a cleaner room rather than a perfectly clean room. A cleaner home, 5 minutes at a time. It's the power of says Tim Kuhl. 2 letters that transform a word's meaning and, more important, transform a whole mindset. It makes the goal progressive instead of all or nothing, he writes. It makes a situation more manageable and way less overwhelming. He applies it then to church facilities and church life. Can we help our community to be not perfect, but cleaner, brighter, stronger, braver, deeper, kinder, wiser, compassionate-er, organized-er. Is a perfection release valve, right? To the benefit of actual progress and greater ease. I've been doing a daily set of yoga exercises and physical therapy stretches. I know, who knows where this will go next. Exercise is designed by someone who points out that many people think that one should stretch past the comfort zone in order to make progress. Stretch to 105, 110, 120%, for example, so that you're expanding your range rather than just simply remaining at your current maximum. So stretch a little farther than normal. This guy teaches that the much more healthy and actually productive way to stretch, the productive-er way to stretch, is to stretch instead to 75 or 80%. Not even all the way to 100%. It's at least and typically more effective, he says. It's another perfection release valve, a metaphor with immediate application to our personal and our shared lives, to the benefit of progress and ease and sustainability, to stretch well to 75 or 80% rather than 120 or more percent. Sermon to self, of course, but my sense is that recognizing beauty in our lives as they are, finding beauty in the midst of a world on fire, locating beauty inside ourselves, noticing beauty in the everyday and the crevices of the ordinary or in what is traditionally labeled ugly, requires not so much new lighting as a different use of the muscles around our eyes that shape our seeing. The emotional and spiritual muscles that bend the lenses through which we look. To relax and then to refocus our gaze a little, or a lot. Like glaucoma, Western white cultural expectations of perfection increase the pressure in our eyes and so distort and jeopardize our vision. The point isn't to let up entirely, but to find the healthy application of a strong 75 to 80%, that stretch that keeps us moving forward most productively and sustainably and with a small risk of injury. In the Mountain Chalice this month, I shared New York Times columnist Margaret Renkel's wisdom. When asked why she focuses so often in her writing on celebrating the natural world right in her yard, the ordinary beauty, Renkel said, "I want to make other people fall in love with what I love. We don't work to preserve what we don't care about. We work to preserve what we're in love with." It's not only a see the beauty right around you message, it's a save the climate message and a how to save the climate message. By helping people fall in love with their world. To close, I'd like to wrap this notion of love all the way back around to those studies of human perceptions of beauty, and perhaps to how to save another kind of climate. I mentioned that we evolved with a mechanism to help us get around that human focus on certain notions of beauty that's also part of our genetic heritage, our physiological and cultural heritage. And I expect you'll know this to be true from your own life and experience. When we start to care about someone, when we begin to love someone, they begin to look more attractive to us. They begin to look more beautiful, and not just in spirit, but also physically. When we care about someone, when we love someone, they look more beautiful to us. They look beautifuler in our eyes. And I expect that's true when we look at ourselves, too. We love and care. We see more beauty. This Mother's Day and well beyond, may you see and be seen in all your perfectly imperfect, ordinary beauty, with more and more and more love. So may we be.
Nurturing is the perfect word to describe the work of our Share the Plate partner, Child Advocates of Nevada County. Last week, Executive Director Marina Bernheimer spoke with us about the 3 programs they offer: court-appointed special advocates, healthy babies, and the child safety puppeteers. All 3 programs provide support and nurture to vulnerable children and families, whether in their own homes, foster homes, or through school programs. 25% of our offering today, or more if you so designate, will support child advocates in their work to not only keep children safe, but to help them thrive. Allison will give you your options for making your donations.
Your generosity remains essential to our ability to sustain the work of our community. There are several ways to contribute. You may text an amount to 833-579-0483, give via our website at uugrassvalley.org, via PayPal at paypal.me/UUCM, or mail to UUCM 246 South Church Street, Grass Valley, California, 95945. Thank you.
Mother Gaia's arms enfold me. Boundless love, give me peace. Waters ripple outward, nourishing. All my fears I shall release. Stars give comfort from above. Vast universe dwarfs my cares. New moon beckons new beginnings. Sunrise brings renewal in the morning air. In the quiet glade, all life is entwined. In every leaf and blade, sacred light I find. Body bound to earth for now, destined to dissolve into sky, ever one with eternal flow. Ancient cycle draws me nigh. Mother Gaia, hold me close. Source of all for which I yearn. All will be as it was meant to be. Born of her I will return. In the quiet glade, all life is entwined. In every leaf and blade, sacred light I find. In the quiet glade, all life is entwined. In every leaf and blade, sacred light I find.
Thank you for your generosity. We dedicate these gifts to nurturing children and helping them find safety and beauty in their lives.
That was Kate's original song. Thank you. Thank you, Kate. Yeah. Thanks for music making this morning, Tom and Kate. Cheryl, thanks for being worship associate yet again. Thank you. Thank you to Eileen for being our chat host online this morning. And this morning we have Jesse Whiteman and Bob Brandstrom, newer to this role of helping with the AV. Yay and thank you. Along with more familiar Steve Temple and Siobhan Boylan. Shanti, beautiful setting. Shanti Emerson, thank you once again. For the visual people, it's so nice to have something for eyes to focus on. Thank you. Thank you to Elizabeth Bloom and to Shannon Dooley Miller for reading this morning, and Corey for finding those readers. To Jean and Laura Harder, and anybody else that was greeting this morning? Oh, and Linda. Linda, thank you for greeting this morning. And to those who organized refreshments, which I think this morning is Shannon Dooley Miller, I think, is doing the organizing refreshments this morning. Again, a chance to greet Karen this morning. Thanks to George, too, for doing that behind-the-scenes work for us of tracking information. Really helpful. For a closing song, I invite you to sing How Could Anyone Ever Tell You? It's one of those songs that sometimes it's the song we most need to hear. So I invite you to sing it to yourself and take it in from others if that's what's most helpful. And if you've got love in yourself to spare, send it out to others. I invite you to rise in body or in spirit and to sing. How could anyone ever tell you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. How could anyone ever tell you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. Last time. How could anyone ever tell you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. Our closing words this morning are a portion of a prayer from the Navajo Way Blessing Ceremony. Navajo or Diné historian Wally Brown explains that the goal in his tradition is to grow spiritually, emotionally, mentally, and physically. And in that journey along those four dimensions of being human, one always encounters fears, he says. Whenever one moves beyond those fears, then we're rewarded with joy, happiness, confidence, and peace, though the fear never disappears. That way of moving beyond fear to joy and happiness and confidence and peace is the way of beauty that's named in the familiar prayer. This is part of a blessing for the way. Beauty is before me, and beauty is behind me. Above me and below me hovers the beautiful. I am surrounded by it. I am immersed in it. In my youth, I am aware of it. And in old age, I shall walk quietly the beautiful trail. With gratitude for the wisdom of the Navajo and Wally Brown, may it be so. I invite us to share together this community benediction that reminds us that we are connected between now and the next time we meet one another. In this community benediction together, let us carry the flame of peace and love until we meet again.